The Hawthorne Museum, renowned for its collection of rare and eerie artifacts, stood as a looming presence in the heart of the city. It was a place where history whispered through the ages, a silent witness to the passage of time. Jenna Reynolds, a curious young woman with a penchant for the macabre, received a peculiar invitation to the museum's grand reopening after years of closure. Drawn by her fascination for the enigmatic and unknown, she eagerly accepted. As Jenna stepped into the museum's dimly lit foyer, an air of anticipation clung to her like a shroud. The marble floors echoed with each step, and the walls seemed to pulse with the weight of history. She was greeted by Mr. Harrington, the museum's curator, who wore a cryptic smile. He led her through corridors adorned with artifacts from civilizations long gone, each piece exuding an unsettling aura. Jenna's heart quickened as she entered a corridor named the Forgotten Gallery. The walls were adorned with paintings that seemed to watch her every move, their subjects obscured by layers of shadow. Mr. Harrington explained that this gallery held pieces too unsettling to display openly, and Jenna felt a shiver crawl down her spine as she took in the collection. Amidst the eerie artwork, Jenna's gaze fixated on a portrait that seemed almost alive. It depicted a woman with penetrating eyes, her lips curled in a knowing smile. Jenna felt a strange connection to the painting, as if it whispered secrets only she could hear. Lost in its gaze, she was startled when Mr. Harrington abruptly ushered her away, his smile never wavering. In a secluded corner, Mr. Harrington shared the museum's history. He revealed that it had been built atop an ancient burial ground, and the artifacts housed within held more than just historical significance. The paintings and sculptures were believed to hold spirits trapped in time, their stories woven into the fabric of the museum itself. Jenna's curiosity mingled with apprehension, and she began to question the true nature of the invitation. Jenna's stay in the museum extended into the night, as she was invited to experience the exhibits after hours. Alone in the dimly lit corridors, she began to hear whispers that danced on the edge of her consciousness. The paintings seemed to come alive, figures shifting and moving within their frames. The air grew colder, and Jenna's unease deepened. Guided by an otherworldly compulsion, Jenna returned to the Forgotten Gallery. The whispering portrait called out to her, its eyes burning with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. Jenna's hand trembled as she reached out to touch the canvas, and a surge of energy coursed through her veins. The room seemed to spin, and she felt herself being pulled into the painting itself. Jenna found herself in a world of swirling colors and ethereal landscapes. She stood in a place that existed between reality and the supernatural, a realm where the stories of the artifacts had taken on a life of their own. The woman from the portrait stood before her, her eyes revealing a haunting truth. She was Isabella Hawthorne, the daughter of the museum's founder, who had made a pact with dark forces to ensure the museum's longevity. As Isabella's story unfolded, Jenna realized that the museum had become a conduit for the trapped spirits of the artifacts. Isabella's desire for immortality had led her to bind the souls of the dead to the pieces on display, cursing them to an eternity of torment. The museum's closure had disrupted this cycle, and Jenna's arrival had inadvertently set the spirits free. Jenna's encounter with Isabella was brief, but it left an indelible mark on her. Determined to free the spirits and escape the museum's grasp, Jenna navigated the shifting landscapes of the supernatural realm. Whispers followed her, their voices a cacophony of pain and longing. She encountered lost souls trapped within their own stories, their faces contorted in anguish. Jenna's journey brought her to a confrontation with the malevolent force that had sustained the museum's sinister power. A being of darkness and malevolence, it fed on the suffering of the trapped souls. Jenna's resolve was tested as she battled the entity, using her connection with Isabella to weaken its hold. The struggle was a symphony of screams and shadows, a battle between light and darkness. With a surge of determination, Jenna managed to break the curse that bound the spirits to the artifacts. The supernatural realm trembled as the trapped souls were released, their anguished cries transforming into a chorus of freedom. The malevolent entity writhed and wailed, its power diminishing with each liberated soul. As the curse was shattered, the museum began to collapse upon itself. The walls crumbled, and the artifacts disintegrated into dust. Jenna felt herself being pulled back into the real world, the colors of the supernatural realm fading away. She awoke on the cold marble floor of the Hawthorne Museum, surrounded by debris and ruin. In the aftermath of the museum's collapse, Jenna emerged as the lone survivor. The city was left with a void where the museum had once stood, a testament to the horrors that had transpired within its walls. As time passed, Jenna dedicated herself to honoring the memory of the trapped souls. She founded a new museum, one that celebrated life and history, rather than binding it in darkness. Though the Hawthorne Museum had been reduced to rubble, whispers of its haunted history lingered in the minds of those who had survived its malevolent grip. Jenna's museum became a beacon of light, a reminder that the stories of the past should be preserved with reverence, rather than exploited for dark purposes. And as the city healed, the echoes of the forgotten gallery grew fainter, replaced by the resolute steps of a community that had faced its own demons and emerged stronger for it.